Do you remember Syphon Filter? It was a PlayStation exclusive action stealth series that spanned across the original PlayStation, the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation Portable, that ended in probably one of the worst cliffhangers that still hasn't received a resolution.
Oh, my back!
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Despite never receiving a seventh game, original developers Ben Studio have continued to honor the series in their most recent work, Days Gone on the PS4. So a while ago I came across a YouTuber discussing Syphon Filter here on YouTube, namely the two PSP titles Dark Mirror and Logan Shadow. While they didn't discuss the ports to the PS2, it made me wonder if there were any comparison videos to showcase the differences between the original PSP versions and the re-releases on the PlayStation 2. I ended up googling to find any videos or articles pertaining to this, but surprisingly I came up empty. However, I did find an old PlayStation blog post, and I absolutely love coming across these. It's like one big nostalgia time capsule. This PlayStation blog post was from May 3rd, 2010, and it talked about Syphon Filter Logan Shadow hitting the PS2 on June 1st of that year, with further discussion on the process of porting the game from PSP to PS2, with various improvements and tweaks, the writing, etc., stuff that was all about that specific game. But the most important part of that post was at the very end. An official digital comic called Syphon Filter The Opposition Effect was planned on being released that summer on the PlayStation Store. Sitting at over 120 pages long, it was to be set between Syphon Filter Dark Mirror and Syphon Filter Logan Shadow, bridging the two titles. While the entire plot overall is unknown, plot elements would have explained Gabe's hatred for Hassan al-Battar, who was the main antagonist in Logan Shadow, Logan's troubled background with Robert Cordell, who was the deputy director of the National Intelligence Oversight Committee, and a hidden antagonist in Logan Shadow, and more of Logan's history with the irrepressible Dane Bishop, a supporting protagonist in Logan Shadow. Also, details on what happened to Cobra, the player-created protagonist and often neglected rookie agent who worked for Gabe in Syphon Filter The Omega Strain, would have been explained. However, nothing outside of that article was ever said about Syphon Filter The Opposition Effect again. Like the game series, the comic quickly disappeared. Chances are this digital comic would have been released for the PSP since, at the time, the PSP had a digital comic application where users could purchase select individual comics to read, but none of this was ever confirmed. All we have left of the Opposition Effect are the very limited details of the blog post, and only two pictures from the digital comic, the cover art, and pages 14 and 15. And judging from the comic's cover art, Logan, Leon, Teresa, and Hassan al-Battar would appear, and from the story's details, Robert Cordell and Dane Bishop would also appear. As for Cobra, I can see a mention or off-screen appearance since Cobra is a player-created character, and based on plot points of the entire story, it's safe to say the story of the comic would reflect more of Logan Shadow. Only knowing the details of the blog at the time, I decided to take a chance and tweet at John Garvin, who was a creative director at Ben Studio and the author of the blog post, to ask him what happened to Syphon Filter The Opposition Effect. And I was surprised to actually receive a response from him rather quickly. According to him, the comic still exists on his hard drive, and of course it would be up to Sony on when, or I should say rather if, they would ever release it. Could I have asked more? Probably. But I really didn't want to push anything, just getting a response was a huge thanks enough. But between discovering the PlayStation blog article and John Garvin's answer, it led me to wanting to find out more despite it being very, very difficult to find out more online. But my research did end up leading me to a Syphon Filter fan site populated with forums on everything Syphon Filter, including discussions on Syphon Filter The Opposition Effect. And as it turns out, I'm not the only person to have asked about the comic. Over the years since its announcement in 2010, many have messaged and emailed John Garvin about its whereabouts, and what it basically boils down to is that the comic got pushed to the back burner for other projects to transition to the forefront, such as Uncharted Golden Abyss on the PlayStation Vita, which was also developed by Ben Studios, and eventually interest in the digital comic just went away. Of course, around this time, there were rumors circulating of a new Syphon Filter being in development for the PlayStation 3, so maybe it made sense for a digital comic to help further explain plot elements of the series. And really, that's all there is to know about Syphon Filter The Opposition Effect. At this point, we can probably say the digital comic will probably never get released. Too much time has passed by, and it's really a shame for all that work to go unnoticed by the fans, but at least we know it does still exist. Plus, Sony has no interest in the series anymore. If they did, chances are we'd have seen an entry on the PlayStation 3 and or PlayStation Vita, maybe even a return on the PlayStation 4. John Garvin also revealed that Bend Studio pitched a Syphon Filter reboot, but allegedly Sony declined it, and if that doesn't say anything about the state of the series, I really don't know what does. So tell me, would you have liked to seen Syphon Filter The Opposition Effect release, or do you think it's too little too late to? Hell, would you even like to see a new Syphon Filter game release? Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe for future content. Give me a follow on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.